Hey, hi there, Malphons, and this is my review of Heavy Rain. I just finished the game, and I have a lot I want to talk about. Heavy Rain is one of those games where they have a really nice concept and a really nice idea, but I feel like they don't execute it as well as they should have to make that concept feel alive and make that concept feel what they intended to make it feel. They don't really show what their idea was. Because again, the idea, the concept is really good, but the game is not that good. It's not a bad game, it's an enjoyable, playable game, it's a really decent game. It's a 6 out of 10 probably. It's a solid 6, but this game could have been a 9. This game could have been a 9, and it was a 6 in the end. And I'm going to explain to you why I feel like this game is a 6. Because a lot of people think this game is trash, a lot of people think this game is amazing. I think this game is mediocre. And it's a game that I will not really remember with the pass of time. So, this is why. Let's start with the characters. The characters in Heavy Rain are really not that deep. They are not interesting enough to make you care about them. The story is deep. The lore on this game is deep. It has a couple of plot twists that are deep. But the characters feel like they don't even feel human. They don't even feel organic. They just feel like puppets on a puppet show. And the player, are pulling the strings of puppets that have no heart. And let me explain why. First of all, and again, I'm playing the PS4 version, I haven't seen the PS3 version, and this may be the port being weird because they did a poor job porting the game to PS4. The characters have really weird facial animations, and we're talking on a time where we have things like, for example, Metal Gear Solid 4. We're talking about a game that had a lot of resources, had a lot of new technology like mocap technology and facial capture technology, and the facial animations are just weird. They don't look human. You can see their mouths move, but the rest of the face is dead. And that makes you get out of the conversation. You cannot focus on the conversation because the characters don't feel human. I would have preferred shittier facial animations that felt normal rather than trying to make photorealistic facial animations that feel nothing like a human. Human mouths don't move like the mouths of the characters in this game were moving. So that's one thing, but then is the writing of the character. The writing on the characters is really, really shallow. You don't feel like they are invested on their own story. And then we have the voice acting, where most of the characters, when they should be shouting, they are just talking normally and super boringly. Oh, please don't die. I did not kill her. I did not kill her. I did not. It's like seeing a game dubbed by Tommy Wiseau, and Tommy Wiseau is all the characters. That's the feeling I get, except for a couple of scenes. Just a couple of scenes where the characters and the voice actors really sound as intense as they should sound, the rest of the game is plainly boring. And it's the characters' fault because the story is decent, but the characters are not well written or well acted. And I feel like it's really sad because it could have been a lot better. Then we have not only the writing being poor, but the options given to the player being even more poor. Because when you are on a third person perspective, where the only button you have to change the camera is L1, and you change between two cameras, maybe three, depending on where your character is sitting on the room or looking at. The camera moves between preset place. And you get the option to do something, but they don't fucking tell you what it is. You cannot really know what is going to happen. For example, and this is an example that really pisses me off. On Madison's dream, Madison says, I should stop taking those pills because they are making me have nightmares. And you think, okay, I will not give Madison the sleeping pills because she's having nightmares because of them. And then you go to the toilet and you are given three options. Move the joystick left, move the joystick up, move the joystick right. Or, well, I think there was a fourth option. The fourth option was move the joystick down. You know that move the joystick up and move the joystick down are to look in the mirror and use the sink in the toilet. That is pretty obvious. But you cannot fucking know. There is no human way of possibly knowing what move the joystick left or move the joystick right does. Not does. So there is no human way of knowing what those options are because the camera is not showing you what Madison is seeing. And I pressed right. I moved the joystick right. And what did Madison do? Madison got the fucking sleeping pills that she was saying that she didn't want it. Why? Because the camera was placed on a place that I was unable to know what the fucking option was. Then we have again camera troubles where the character stops walking on a place. You have to choose between dialogue options and you are completely unable to see those dialogue options because they are outside of the reach of the camera. Then again, developing weird choices. With Ethan, you are on the place where you have to cut your finger, and on the hallway before getting on that room, if you go to the stairs, you can see the fucking void outside of the stage. You can see the building, and to the right of the building, a black void of nothingness. Because the camera gets out of boundaries. And that is a rookie mistake on game development. Unless you're doing it on purpose, which I don't feel they are because it's the only place in the entire game that it happens. I don't think they are doing that on purpose, so it is a huge mistake. And then we have the QTEs. Again, for some reason, when Sony made the PlayStation, they thought that 6-axis controls were good. And most of the games back in the PS3 era had 6-axis controls. And Quantic Dream said, hey, why not pick this technology that is still on process and that is super full of flaws and make it a core element on our game. We have, first of all, and again, this could be the PS4 controller not reacting well to PS3 QTEs. But again, we have a PS4 game telling you to move the joystick on a certain way and not registering whatever the fuck you just did. And it's on really specific move. because it is on the half moon move, and I know perfectly how to do those moves because I've been playing fighting games for my entire life, and most of the special attacks on the fighting games are done with that movement of the joystick or that movement of the gamepad. So I know how to make that move. The problem is that the game doesn't register it. And then we have the 6-axis move that they should have fucking removed from the game when they made the PS4 port, because 6-axis is fucking dead. No one likes 6-axis. 6-axis is the worst part of the controls. PS4 is not like Wii. The PS3 wasn't like Wii. 6-axis was a mistake. And having 6-axis as a core element of the game is a mistake. So, there you have it. You have a game that could have had nice voice acting but didn't, that could have had interesting characters but didn't, that has an interesting story but you cannot really enjoy the story as much as you would like because the voice acting is mediocre and the characters are boring and the controls are awful, because that's the game. That's Heavy Rain for you. You have awful camera work, you have awful controls, you have really not that interesting characters that could have been way deeper than they are, and voice acting that doesn't really help with the feeling that the characters are boring. And you get that, and you get a game that could have been a 9 out of 10 and you turn it into a 6 out of 10 because the story is interesting. The only thing that saves this game is the story, because character wise, animation wise, control wise, everything in this game is half-assed. That's what I feel like. They shipped a game that was not finished. The feeling I get from this game is that the game is not finished. And I know it's not like that because the game was finished when it was shipped. And this is a PS4 version of a PS3 game. They had years to improve things like control and camera. They could have made it better. Obviously you are not going to make better the facial animations because the motion capture is already done. The facial capture is already done. You are not going to make better the voice acting because it's already done. But things like porting a game and changing slightly some of the controls to adapt the game to a new console, yeah, you can change that. And they didn't do it. They just said, hey, this PS3 game should be on PS4, let's make it. Okay, and they ported the game and they didn't give a shit about how many flaws it has. And that is my thoughts. Those are my thoughts on Heavy Rain, sadly. Now I'm going to try and get the nice ending by going into chapters and see if the QTEs respawn this time, because I really hate how the QTEs were on the final scene. They failed on really important moments, and again, it's not because I was not trying. I was doing exactly the movements that the QTEs were telling me, but as you have seen throughout this playthrough, sometimes when they tell you to move the stick down, you have to hold it down because it doesn't register. And man, you've seen me saying, oh wait, I had to press the button and I was holding it. I'm able to know when I'm wrong. And on this chapter, it really felt like the game was failing on the most important moments. It didn't feel like I had a chance because even doing the things right, the game was not registering them. So what else can I tell you besides, hey, if you want to see the good ending, I will try to get it right now, and if you want to get the good ending, play the game. It's still free on the PlayStation Plus store this year. But if I cannot go to the last scene and get the good ending right now, I'm not going to play the whole game to get the good ending. In fact, I'm not going to get the platinum of this game because I don't feel like it is worth it. I was fighting the controls, I was fighting how much I don't like the voice acting, I was fighting how much the weird faces of the characters distract me. I've been fighting to enjoy this game, and I have found things that I enjoy, but I have found more things that I don't like about the game than I have found things that I like. So I'm not going to replay this game again. I will probably replay it in Spanish if I feel like it and if I have nothing else to play. But hey, I hope you enjoyed the game, and I hope you enjoyed the review, and I hope I will see you on the next one. So until then, see ya.